Delaware County, how can you not love it? Born and bred here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And I love you. Thank you. Just across that street, townhouse, several years ago, I began to repay back to this nation the debt I owed it. This country was there for me at the one moment in time I needed it. When young Alex, that so many of you personally know, got struck by that fickle finger of fate, and she had that cancer. Man, I tell you, I work hard every day to pay you back. And I promise you, the most honest, the hardest working, and most accountable senator that you can have. A lot of us remember that speech that a young senator made from Illinois 7 days prior to the Iowa caucus. He said, "Our moment is now to repair the world and to heal a nation." I tell people every day that I can remember having been over there in that country in Afghanistan. And I always remember sitting there late one night. A very short mission was I there for. But I remember a couple Navy SEALs, one of them I knew, as they planned a mission that late that night. You looked out the farmhouse window, there was no glass, the roof was missing. And I'll never forget just thinking, yep, a little bit of work out here, a little bit of repair, and we would not have to be here. This morning I started downtown very early, and I was out there, and you know, it was for the Walk for Cure for juvenile diabetes. And I told them that everybody comes into this life, all of us, needing a little bit of repair. For me, it was my daughter. Juvenile diabetes, in particular in the minority areas, where there is disparity of focus upon it. I can't tell you, as I walk those streets and see that only 28% of our African American males are graduating from high school, and only 33% of our whites are graduating from high school, something's not right. I can't tell you how much I do appreciate and how much I understand the involvement and the anger of those of the Tea Party. I do. I don't mind the clamor here. I can always remember my mom with us 8 kids right up the road. As we went to St. Francis, then they kicked me out for misbehaving, I think. Is that in the paper? I went over to St. Kevin's, and I remember once my mom picked up one of the youngest ones who was calling out in church like this. And the pastor said, "No, sit down. We want to hear all of God's kids." That's what this electoral process is about. Because at the end of the day, I want to serve them just as equally as I want to serve you. But I have to tell you something, and I tell everyone this story. Some politician once went in front of a crowd of farmers. And he said to the farmers, if your neighbor had 2 barns and one of them had burnt down, and, if your neighbor had a barn and one of them it had burned down, and you had too, would you let your farmer store his grain in your spare barn? And the farmer, one of them yelled out, yes, I would. And then he said, if you have 2 tractors, and your neighbor's tractor had burnt down in that fire, would you give him one of your 2 tractors? Yes, I did. And that farmer said, yes, I would. And then this politician said, and if you had 2 cows, and your neighbor's cow had died in that fire, would you give them, your neighbor, one of your 2 cows? And there was silence. And he walked over and said, what's the problem? And the farmer said, I have 2 barns. They don't have 2 barns. I don't have 2 tractors, but I got 2 cows. I bring that up because I'm about to ask you to give something you have that is most precious. I need your time.
You got it, Joe.
I said at a rally earlier today, I'm not a red meat guy. I'm not. I'd rather tell you like it is. I need your time. Not for Joe Sestak. I've done everything I wanted to. By 1985, command a ship at sea.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, my career's over. This is a passion. I want to help heal this nation. I want to help heal this world. But I need you. In the remaining days to come, I've got to ask you to get out the vote. I've got to ask you to knock on doors. I've got to ask each one of you to bring someone on Tuesday to that poll. Why? You know, John F. Kennedy said it pretty darn well, but he had it wrong when he said, one man can make a difference and every man should try. In Washington, it takes several men and women to make sure that we can heal this nation. I need you to get out. Why? I respect Congressman Toomey, but I think if the O'Donnell, Toomey, Palin ticket were to be the one that got down there, then it's not that they're just extreme candidates on the fringe of even the Tea Party. It's that his policies are so extreme. Think about it. 66% of our corporations pay no taxes. And yet he wants to eliminate all the corporations from having any taxes. And then he says, by the way, I don't want any safeguards on Wall Street, but seniors, give me your Social Security.